Alrighty, what's up, everyone? Hope everyone had a great weekend. This is going to be the weekly outlook for June 9th to the 13th. All right, let's get right into the key economic events. So, coming into this week, the major key economic events is going to be core CPI. This is on Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursday, we also have core PPI, and then Friday we have consumer sentiment. So, back to back major red folder news events Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This is what we're going to be looking at coming into this week. Let's hop straight into the charts and see exactly what we're looking for. All right. First things first, let's go over the ES on the daily time frame thesis for this coming week. Markets still intact for continuation towards the upside. You can see that we are continuing to make higher lows. What I'd like to see is the break and hold above 6,000 key level on ES for continuation. All right, let's go into the daily chart. So as you can see right here for the ES, if I remove all the drawings here, price now in a clear uptrend, right? We talked about this for a while. Once we were able to reclaim back above your 5,600, now we're creating higher lows, as you can see in the overall market. So every dip so far has gone bought up. Now we actually ended up having a candle close here above your 6,000 key cycle level here on Friday. So now what I'd like to see for more continuation, if you do want to push back towards your all-time highs, I would like to see, a push back towards the all-time highs here on the SPY and the Qs. When you look at the ES, it's a little bit farther away just because of the contract rollover that's actually going to happen in a few weeks. But for the ES, what I'd now like to see break above, hold above your 6,000 for this continued push back up and towards your all-time highs. So if you go into lower time frames here, turn back on the drawings. Right now we're currently on the 1 hour chart. You can see on the 1 hour chart, building, holding this trend line. We're continuing towards the upside. Now we're breaking above this general area. So we have multiple touches on this general area, which is your 5990. We also have your 6010. So for the ES, what I like to see now is really the hold above your 6010, which is a very key psych level. As you can see, multiple touches here. Now I like to use this area as a retest for this continued push right back towards the upside. So that's what I like to see, at least coming into market open here next week, is the reaction that we have off of your 6010. If you can maintain above your 6010 and your 5990, I like to see continuation towards the upside. If you end up breaking back below your 5990, there is a possibility, we gravitate back down in towards your 5930 here on the ES. If you look at the SPY chart is a lot more bullish. They're basically the exact same thing, SPY and the ES, but just based off the adjusted contracts or the contract rollover, SPY looks fairly close to your all-time highs level, which is your all-time highs 612. So for the SPYs, you can see now we are above your 596. We're making higher lows. We're defending this daily gap. As you can see, what I like to see now is the hold above your 595 for this pushback towards your all-time highs here on the SPY. So if I go back onto the lower time frames, turn back on the drawing tools here for SPY, the key levels that I have marked out. Number one is your 595. You can see we're holding above your 595. We're continuing towards the upside, building these higher lows here in the overall market. Now for the SPY, we're above our 599. So I'd like to see the hold of your 599 coming into next week for this continued push back towards the upside. We do have room back towards your all-time highs, as I mentioned. So your 599 is going to be key coming into next week. If we break back underneath, we're gonna potentially move back inside the range that we've established. We're still very much bullish here on the 1 hour time frame until we break structure. Your next structure point is going to be your 590. So until we're able to break back below your 590, I'm not too interested in short positions. I'd much rather be going long, and looking for dips to long back towards the upside here. So that's what I have on SPY. As I mentioned, all-time highs is back up and towards your 612. Let's go into the NQ chart. Thesis for the NQ making higher lows and continuing to push back towards the highs. What I like to see is the market structure stay intact if we want to push back towards the upside. Key levels that I would like to see hold is your 21,542 key level on the NQ for a move towards the upside. So if we're looking at this on the daily time frame, you can see so far a bunch of these upper wicks, but now we finally closed above your 21,540. I like to see this move back up and towards your all-time highs, similar to the ES as well. Now let's go on to the trading view chart. If you look at this on the daily time frame, as you can see here for the NQ, key levels that I have is your 21,540, and now you can see we finally closed above that level here last week. Now what I like to see is the break and hold above your 21,800. If you're gonna hold above your 21,800, this will be the next level that we like to see resistance turn into support for a continuation back up into your all-time highs. If you go into the hourly chart for the NQ, now we're able to break above, hold above your 21,550. Next level is going to be this 21,800. If you can get above this level, as I mentioned, hold above. We like to see this continue back towards the upside here on the NQ. So far, as I mentioned, similar to the ES, we're building up higher lows. So this is going to be your higher low pivot level, which is at your 21,550. As long as you maintain your 21,550, we can expect the markets to gravitate back towards the upside. If you look at the QQQ chart here, similar to the SPY, we're building up these higher lows on the overall markets, we're having structure still being built towards the upside. Now for the QQQ, I like to see the break above your 530. I also like to see a break above your last Thursday's highs, higher lows being built, continuation towards the upside. As long as you maintain key levels, your key level in this case is going to be your 522. I'm not short bias until we can break underneath this key pivot low, which is going to be your 522 higher low based off the 1 hour time frame. So for the Qs coming into next week, what I would like to see is the reaction that we have off our 533. Other key levels that we have marked out on the chart, 526 along with their 530 here on the Qs. Now let's go on to some tech names that we have. Tesla. Thesis for this coming week. Tesla had a major news event in the markets. You can see we had a big drop with Elon and Trump. Once we broke underneath the 330 key level, we end up having a nice big push towards that area that we broke out from. Tesla originally had a big move off the 300 key level. Now we are returning back inside that area. So for Tesla, if you look at this on the daily time frame, as you can see right here, this is the original area that we broke out from. Nice push towards upside. Now we had consolidation, and now we're pushing right back in towards the area we broke out from. So for Tesla, now you can see really big push down on Thursday. Now the key levels I'm going to have on Tesla is going to be number one, I have our 295. We also have your 270. So if we go into the 15-minute time frame, coming to next week, we're just going to be using primarily Thursday's price action. So this is going to be our key range now. There are Thursday's highs along with our Thursday's lows. A lot of volume on this day. Plus, this is the biggest day. Every other levels or any other day that we had last week is not that relevant to Thursday's price action. So now this is going to be the box that we're trading in. We can also mark out our smaller box, which is going to be Friday's high and low. What we like to see is the reaction that we have off of our 295. If you can maintain 295, you can see a push back up towards your Friday's highs, break underneath your 295. Next level is going to be all the way back down in towards your 286, which is your gap that we have created on Thursday to Friday of last week. So for Tesla, we're going to be using intraday price action. Higher time frame is not that useful, at least when we're trading intraday now, just based off of where we're at on the daily time frame. Let's go into the NVDA chart. This daily chart is useful. Right now, you can see that NVIDIA is pushing back towards the earnings high. You can see that every dip has gone bought up so far. Currently, we're having a reaction off your 143 level on this name. That is going to be the next level that NVIDIA has to get above if you want to see a push towards all-time highs. So for NVIDIA, if we look at this on the daily time frame perspective, overall market, very much bullish. Every single dip has gone bought up. You can see higher lows are being built ever since we broke back above our 112 right? All dips have gone bought up and we had a nice continuation towards the upside. So for NVIDIA, as you can see, so far we're building up this potential flat top here. Right now, what we have is right, higher lows are being built. What we like to see is the break above your 144. This is a nice daily time frame setup that is forming. If you can break above 144, hold, you can see this nice push back up and towards your all-time high. So we'll keep an eye out on that coming into next week. If we go into lower time frames here, as I mentioned, it's going to be your last week's highs along with your level all the way back from a few weeks ago here as well. If you can get above your 144 and hold, right, this is going to be a really good, nice trading opportunity above your 144 continuation towards the upside here on NVIDIA. Next charts that I do have, Apple thesis coming to this week. Right now, you can see that Apple has just been consolidating on the daily chart after bouncing off 192. This one's just ranging in between the low 192 and 210 key levels. All we have to do is go into the lower time frames to look for trading opportunities on this one. If we look at Apple on the daily chart, not too much to talk about. As you can see, we're just ranging here in between your 210 along with your 192. We actually have a very smaller range here as well in between this 200 and this 205, which is the range that we had in the past couple of weeks. So for Apple, very tight range here, making it very difficult to trade intraday. So for this name, you can see a lot of consolidation in this general area until we're able to break above your 205. I personally wouldn't touch it unless you're looking for the rejections. If you're short, right, you can either look for the rejection off 205 or the break back underneath your 200 for continuation towards the downside. Besides that, right, any trades that you take in between your 206 and your 200 key psych is just going to be mean reversions, right, rejections off the highs, bounces off the lows. Preferably, you don't really want to take any positions in this general area, and you want to wait for the break above those key levels that I talked about. As for AMD, thesis for this next week, AMD building higher lows on the daily chart. What I like to see is the reaction off 120. That is going to be the next level that AMD has to get above if you want to see some continuation back towards the upside. So for AMD, let's go into the daily chart here. I kind of readjusted my levels as well. So as you can see here for AMD, really my level, if we remove a few drawings here, is this key pivot level here, 115, multiple touches. This is also your earnings high area where we dropped around earlier. You can see we have multiple touches here as well. What I like to see on AMD is the hold above your 115 for this continued pushback towards the upside. Go back onto the 1 hour chart. So far, we have this bigger range. If we draw out this box here, basically what we have is the top of the range where we have multiple touches. We have the middle of the range, in this case is equilibrium 115. So for AMD, a lot of consolidation the past couple of weeks. What I would like to see now is the hold above your 116. You can hold above your 116. We can see this push back up in towards your 120 here and above on the AMD. And then the last ticker I do have, I actually have a few more. Meta thesis for this coming week, Meta breaking out of last week's daily consolidation towards the upside. What I like to see now is a push back towards your all-time highs level. Just mark out all highs. And now what we like to see is those levels be used as continuation back towards the upside. So for Meta, as you can see, daily time frame, consolidation break, now pushing back towards the upside. Once we had that consolidation, as you can see here, daily flag, nice push towards the upside here on Meta. Now for Meta, key levels that we have established, right, our 600 key psych that we got above. Now we're having some nice continuation higher. Now the levels for Meta is now just going to be right your 690. We like to see this continue push higher. Next level is going to be your 700. Above that level, we can see some more continuation higher here as well. Next levels that I have marked out is really going to be back up and towards your all-time high. So for Meta, we can get above your 700. Next levels is quite far away, is going to be that 740. So fairly far away here on Meta. We do expect a potential kind of reaction around this general level, but any dips I would like to see get bought up for continuation back towards the upside. As for my final watch for the weekly outlook, nice push towards the upside on Amazon last week. What I like to see is a break back above the 214 for continuation towards the upside. Any daily candle close, we can see a push back towards 220 and above. So for Amazon, as you can see here on the daily time frame, what I would like to see now is the close above your 214 daily pivot high a couple weeks ago. Now, if we can have a daily candle close, next level is going to be this 220 here. So if you look at this on the 1 hour time frame, right, this is basically our range high. Right, we found some support down around our 200 key psych level. Equilibrium here is your 209. So once we're able to get back above 209, next logical level is going to be this 215. Now for Amazon, if we can get above 215, next level is going to be this 220 on the higher time frames. If we reject, we're just going to come right back down in towards your 209. So I would like to see the break above your 215 for continuation back towards the upside. All right. That is going to be the weekly outlook for me coming into this week. We'll talk about some more charts here as well in the actual pre-market on Monday. So with that being said, hope you guys had a great weekend, and I will see you guys all Monday morning. All right, take care, everyone. Peace.